charity initiatives, three different stampede situations, three different situations where we have had to, mourn the loss of lives of Nigerians needlessly, who only just try to hustle for their daily bread. It is actually very unfortunate what happened on Saturday over the weekend in Anambra, Okija, Anambra, and also Abuja. Very unfortunate. But then through it all, we still need to be thankful for those that we still have around us. We still need to be thankful for the days ahead. We need to be thankful for the days behind, and we also need to be thankful for today. Very important. All right, I hope we are still staying hydrated. Yes, the weather seems to have abated a bit, but it's still very important for you to just keep going. Take your water. It's very important. Stay hydrated. And don't forget to moisturize. My name is Omobola Sandra, and you're welcome to Trends in the Papers, where we'll be looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers this morning. Okay, and we have our papers here: The Guardian, Vanguard, and The Punch newspaper. I also have Sahid Forhad waiting someone on the phone line to share his thoughts as regards, the conversations that we'll be having this morning. But before we go into the, trends for this morning, let's see what we had over the weekend. And the major headline on the front page of the Weekend Guardian caught my attention, and it is something that we need to talk about. Vanishing beaches, hope dims on coastal leisure during Yuletide. The fact that a lot of recreation centers have had to pack in, especially with the coming on board of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, and also as regards the fact that people can't really afford to go there anyways. But even with that, it is actually a very interesting read. You may want to dig deep into that. Pages 8 and 9. Vanishing beaches, hopes dim on coastal leisure during Yuletide. A lot of people can't afford their traditional Christmas celebrations this year. I think that has already been established, but I know that the beaches are somewhere where people just go in and just take their children. That is the list. All you need to pay is just gate fee, take your food in, and you are good to go. That is some beaches anyways, but there are some beaches that you have to pay to bring your food in. But it was some way somehow that people try to enjoy themselves. Also, a major story that trended over the weekend was, of course, NNPCL and Dangote refinery. Marketers are in suspense as NNPC and Dangote lower petrol price. We're still waiting to see the effect on the pump price, but are we expecting better days ahead with this competitive tension that seems to be going on between the NNPCL and Dangote? And a lot of people are asking if NNPCL could afford to drop the price of petrol to this amount. Why exactly was there the subsidy conversation in the first place? Why was there that control and management on it in the first place? That question has been coming up, but then another major question people have asked over the weekend was, if NNPCL is the NNPC refinery, the Port Harcourt refinery, if it is still functional, if it is still in operation. All right, because the Punch, put out a story over the weekend as regards that, and they have already debunked that, and there's been a back and forth. But the story now is that NNPCL has dropped its price to 899 naira per litre. Don't forget that sometime last week Dangote also dropped its own price to 899, but Dangote's dropping of price was not to the filling stations or was not to the consumers, that's us now, was to the marketers, and then the marketers from that reduction also reduced theirs to 936. But conversation still continues, especially with with NNPC also dropping its price. Those were the major headlines, aside from, of course, how scores were killed in Abuja and Anambra. In Anambra State, there was the Obi Jackson Foundation. This is something they do every year, but unfortunately this time, due to desperation of people with the economic hardship and all of that, lives were lost. And also a Catholic church in Abuja who does this as well every year. Unfortunately, there was the stampede again. So that's three different events claiming lives in just about a week or thereabouts. A very unfortunate one. All right, we still have a lot of stories to look through this morning, and as I bring Sahid Fuhad on board, don't forget we are live at Mainland 98.3 FM on both Facebook and YouTube. Mainland 98.3 FM on both Facebook and YouTube. So you can drop your comments even as the show progresses on those platforms. Okay, so the handle to look out for is Mainland 98.3 FM, and you are on to trends in the papers. Okay, so time check right now is 7:48 a.m. and the major headline, of course, on the front page of the Punch is still addressing the stampede situation. Stampede deaths. States list tough conditions for palliative distribution, and we have a rider here that says organizers must secure permits, provide medical team, ambulances, security, and others insist governors. And that is the measures that have been taken now to mitigate such a reoccurrence of such instances in the future, because of course this is the season for all of those things. A lot of people are going to be giving out, churches, foundations, medical centers, and so even government as well. But good morning, Fuad. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. Once again, my condolences for your loss yesterday. I trust that everything is going well this morning.
Yeah, thank you. We thank God for everything. Thank God.
All right. Fine. So let's get into it. I started this conversation yesterday on political roundtable as regards, stampede and all of that. And now states are bringing out conditions, as regards if you want to have any palliative distribution or you have any charity initiative, these are the things, the criteria that you need to meet. But before we go into that, the conversation around, do you think at this point now, the factors around what happened, is it greed on the part of the people? Or is it, mismanagement, or crowd mismanagement on the part of the organizers? Or is it harsh economic policies of the government that, resulted in this, or all three together?
Well, Sandra, I can't read. I see desperation on the part of the people. People are desperate. The poverty index has continued to grow, and has gotten to a point. That's just what I see. I've seen some very nonsensical justifications for.
Okay.
I can call the level of misgovernance. Yes, can you hear me, Sandra?
I can barely. The line seems to be breaking up. The quality of the call is a little bit poor. So how about we reconnect? Please stay with me. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's Said Fuad to be giving analysis to the stories that we'll be looking through this morning. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is Trends in the Papers. Okay, so we are currently talking about the stampede situation, that has occurred in Oyo, Abuja, and Anambra states. And states are now given, conditions before you can, have such an event, or before you can have palliative distribution. You need to meet substitute. I will read out the criteria. That's after Fuad, finishes his thoughts. I'm with you.
Yeah, all right, fine. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, is that look, the level of poverty in the land, I think, has gotten to a peak point. People are down, Sandra. The people that ordinarily must go to such events to look for what to. I've also bring the list of people who are looking for. Ordinarily, some of the people that these places to eat would not have done that maybe a year or two ago. I've seen some nonsensical people are even digging up as far back as the trees. The head guy in the tree that said there's on the land. It's a level of hunger. Yes, Sandra.
Are you in a different location today? I'm struggling to hear you. I can barely make out a full sentence from what you're saying. Maybe we should try something else, okay? But stay with me. Just stay on the line. Okay, so what we have here is as part of efforts to prevent tragedies at public events, several states have started the implementation of strict precautionary measures. And this is coming as 67 people, 35 of them are children, have died in stampedes in Ibadan, Oyo State, Okija, Anambra, and Abuja during a fun fair and food distribution ceremony. Very unfortunate situation. All right, so in a decisive action, the Lagos State government mandated individuals and groups to register with state safety agencies when planning for events expected to host more than 250 attendees, both during and after the Yuletide. All right. And the government has emphasized that failure to comply with this directive would result in sanctions for the event organizers. All right. And this was given at a media briefing on Sunday, where the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Gbenga Oyinrinde, and his counterpart in the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, alongside heads of State Safety Commission, stressed the importance of adequate crowd control. And what I have here, I'm quoting now, open quote, "The Lagos State government is seriously concerned about the stampede incidents in Oyo, Anambra, and Abuja. Any individual, group, or organization planning to distribute items or host large gatherings must obtain clearance from the state government and register with the state safety commissions." He also added that event organizers should request ambulances from the state government at a reasonable fee. He encouraged residents to utilize the state's toll-free emergency line 767 and 112 for prompt assistance during emergencies. And that is that about that. I don't know if it's just events. Okay, yeah, I think it's generally okay when planning for events that to host more than 250 attendees. So whether it is palliative distribution event or whether it is a concert or whatnot, events, as long as you are going to be having more than 250 people attending your event, this is for you, and that's for Lagos State. All right, that's the directive coming from Lagos State. We also have a few others from other parts. I mean, Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State has also called for more structured and safer approach to distributing relief materials to prevent stampedes. And in a statement on Sunday, he said, and I quote, "The event was with noble intention of sharing relief materials to the less privileged. However, the resulting tragedy underscores the urgent need for a more structured and safer approach." Okay, so it is strongly advised that future distributions of relief materials be conducted in a more organized and decentralized manner with adequate crowd control measures in place. This may include establishing multiple distribution points within the community to reduce overcrowding at a single location. Implement a system to prioritize vulnerable groups such as the elderly, pregnant women, children, and people with disabilities, as well as employing trained personnel to manage crowds. Ensure orderly queues, provide assistance to those in need, and conduct public awareness to educate the public on safety protocols during such events. Abia State as well has put out a public safety alert, and the statement reads, "The governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti, wishes to commiserate with the families and loved ones of victims of stampede that happened in Oyo, Abuja, and Anambra. Following this frightening upsurge, the governor wishes to call on organizers of all kinds of programs that would require a reasonable crowd to make sure they put in place all safety measures to avoid a stampede of any type that may lead to loss of lives. And they have also strongly warned against any unethical practices like spraying or throwing of money or gift items into a crowd of people, given its propensity to lead to a stampede. The government shall come down very hard on any person or group that ignores this safety measure." Akwa Ibom State government has also taken measures to avoid stampede. The Commissioner of Information and Strategy, Ini Emelbong, we have been sharing the palliatives, but we still distribute them to the local government. The local government then distribute to the villages. So reducing it that way, they are dissipating the crowd, so people are not gathering in large numbers. All right, so so that's their own logistic plans, which has been operationalized for a long time, and that's what's working for them. Kogi State as well seems to be similar to that of Akwa Ibom State. Rivers State as well also has put measures in place to avert tragedy. Delta State government has also is also putting things in place to avert such tragedy as well. So these are the things that different state governors are doing to ensure that we do not have a repeat of the unfortunate incidents that have happened in Oyo, Anambra, and Abuja. But the question still hovers around the poverty index of the country and the economic situation and the economic hardship that a lot of people are going through. People are desperate. I mean, for example, the one in Oyo State, I think we all it was a program that was meant for children. Okay, it was for kids, and then you have people, when they're trying to throw their kids in, even when they had reached the maximum capacity, the gates were locked, parents were throwing their kids over the gates trying to get in. So I think the desperation that Fuad was trying to highlight it should be the focal point at this time now. But what says you? So yes, Fuad, please carry on.
All right, is it better now, Sandra?
We can only know if you carry on.
All right, so
Yes.
well, honestly, desperate times for under Nigerians, poor Nigerians. People are getting poorer by the day, and people that ordinarily would not attend such events are now conditioned to also get to that event. If I don't, for example, that you just talked about, look, it was said that people got there a day before. People even slept at the venue. Sandra, it should tell you something. People slept at the venue. As at 5 a.m. of that day, from the reports we got, the place was already filled up. And the organizers had suspected that there was going to be trouble. So the stampede even started before the event started. Sandra, the stampede had already started. People had already started dying even before the event started, Sandra, because people were desperate. And the same thing in other places, like the one in Anambra, for example, that's an event that has always taken place without any issues. The same thing in Abuja. Yes, we understand that, look, maybe better crowd management should have happened and all of that. But I'm sure the organizers would not have envisaged the kind of crowd that came. And look, whether you like it or not, it is telling of the current situation of Nigerians, the level of poverty. Like I said, I've seen some very nonsensical attempts to want to justify the level of misgovernance and poverty we have in the country. I've seen people digging up newspaper headlines as far back as 1983, where a paper had reported that there's hunger in the land. So does that still justify the level of hunger we have now? So if people were hungry then, people are now more hungry. That's what I'm saying. If hunger had been in the land from 1983, which is a fact, but not at this level, Sandra. What we have now is hunger, pain, suffering, anguish, death. That's what we are saying now. And whether you like it or not, this situation is traceable to the policies of the government, the level of misgovernance. You might not say, it just happened now. But back to back, especially these are democratic experiments. We've seen failed policies of government consistently putting people more into poverty. And it must be addressed. So again, we agree that the government now understanding that people are now more desperate. So anything you try to do as a charitable work is going to be problematic. You might have serious issues controlling crowds. I agree that they have to do something to now condition the people to take some safety standards. But again, I fear that bureaucracy will come in. Oh, you must register with this agency. I hope they are going to make it seamless for organizers of events. Anybody that wants to distribute something outside, I will say avoid any crowd gathering. Find a more, methodical way to distribute anything now, because people are desperate. I told me a friend had gone to one bus stop to just share food. They were going to tear her apart, Sandra. They were almost going to damage their vehicles. The way people throng that are the desperation by people are looking for food. So we need to know that there's problem in the land. It's not rosy. Even some of the people that used to support the government are already accepting that, look, it's not the best of times for Nigeria and Sandra. The level of poverty is such that we have never seen before. This is something we have never seen in the history of the country. Not even in the Abacha era.
So the focus now should be on economic policies from the government. Is that what we're saying now? Or should the focus, be on... I mean, the governors are trying to do what they can to ensure that, because the giving is going to continue. You can't stop people from giving.
People are going to try to help. Yeah, people. Of course, you can't blame people who are even trying to help. Sandra, how do you blame people who are trying to help? Yes, maybe better crowd control, do more, understand that things are tough for people now. So if you're expecting 100, you might see 1,000. But at the end of the day, how do you blame people who are trying to help?
Okay. Well, it is actually really unfortunate, especially in situations like the one that occurred in Abuja and Anambra. Seeing that it's a yearly thing for them, it's not something. This is not the first time that they would be having such, a giveaway or an initiative. It's something that is done every year, but some people even went as far as people that do not join them regularly had to even come and pick up something.
Sandra, have you noticed that even the so-called middle class is already being eroded?
So for
everybody, now you are up there, you are down below. That's what we have now.
Is there still middle class at this
because
point?
The middle class of a year or two ago has already discovered that there's no middle anything for him or her again. They are down. So the middle class of a year or two ago that would not go to such events is now going to that event. That's the situation.
All right. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. Time check right now is 4 minutes past 8 a.m. and you are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Okay, so I'm still on that particular conversation. You can get further details of that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. That's the major headline of the Punch. Stampede deaths, state lists tough conditions for palliative distribution. Don't forget, in Lagos State, if you're going to have an event that would exceed 250 attendees, you need to register with the safety commissions, and you also need to engage the security operatives and also an ambulance from the Lagos State government at an affordable fee, as stated by the Lagos State government.
Yeah, but we hope it's affordable. The affordable is really affordable. And the bureaucracy that comes with these things too has to be checked, so that you don't even frustrate people who really want to help. So they just get tired and leave the whole thing and move on. And if you now go there, you want to register, they push you around, push you left, or the normal thing that comes with government bureaucracy, and then they tell you to get this and that, and then somebody just wants to get you tired. Won't you just leave it and just abandon the whole idea?
Thank you very much, Fuad. Moving on now, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we also have here, police denying killing hunger protesters, demand amnesty's apology. And that's on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And we also have here, government has approved recruitment of 3,927 customs officers. That's on page 31 for further conversation. Also, the federal government...
On the killing, Sandra, 1 minute. It's just 1 minute. If you read the story very well, Amnesty International has said that during that End Bad Governance protest, police in different parts of the country have killed about 24 protesters. And that's what the police is debunking. And if you look at the statement of the police PRO on that Amnesty report, you just get tired. All he has said is that the police investigated itself and discovered that the allegation was false. Sandra, how do you investigate yourself? How are you a judge in your own case? Because that's the only thing they have said. That look, they investigated this allegation and they found out that everything was false. And I was hoping to see that there was a panel, independent panel, that had helped the police to investigate this killing of eminent Nigerians. Only for me to see that the police investigated this, the police investigated this, in this case the police, and the other. So you are a judge in your own case, and you want us to take that serious, Sandra. Oh my goodness! I was hoping to see that maybe some group of people, Nigerians, were put together, to conduct the investigation. But the police investigated. They say you kill people. You say no, you didn't kill people. But we investigated ourselves and discovered that the allegation is false, and so they must apologize to you. Oh my goodness, Sandra, let's get.
Well, I have another, interesting story here, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Federal government's 50% transport reduction scheme may begin on Tuesday. That's what we have in this report here now. I don't know if it's something that we're all looking forward to. 50%. The last time we had such a rebate, the transport companies came out and they had some,
I said a lot of things.
they had some concerns about it. I hope they have consulted with the transport companies this time around.
Who is handling it this year? Dele Alaki was in charge. The Minister of Mines and
it's okay.
Was in charge last year.
It's the Ministry of Transportation.
Okay, they've now taken it to you. You remember now, Sandra.
Well, what we have now is that
Maybe the man is busy this year to handle things like that.
but why should he be the one handling it? He just lifted ban.
So he did it last year. I didn't you see?
Shouldn't he face the
if he's not
is lifting of ban in Zamfara State? Let the Minister of Transportation do what he's supposed to do.
That's what I'm saying. That if he's not in charge this year, he's gotten busy with
He's very busy.
the mining sector.
He's very busy. He's lifting bans. Yeah. All right. The proposed 50% interstate transport fare price slash by the federal government that was initially to commence December 20th, 3 days ago, may now begin 24th.
A day to Christmas.
I don't know if people are traveling a day to Christmas, but I mean, maybe.
I doubt. Well, I'm sure people like free things.
So they'll still take advantage of it?
Well, just desperate time, Sandra.
Oh, well.
Desperate time. But I'm sure people who are serious about traveling will not wait for this kind of.
Exactly, because I'm wondering if people want to travel for Christmas and they're traveling the day to Christmas. I don't know, but
no.
The
Like I said, it's desperate time. People are still going to look at it.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Transportation, last Thursday announced that it had agreed with stakeholders in the road transport sector to support Nigerians who will be traveling during the Yuletide, and it was supposed to commence, December 20th. So 50% on transport fare for travelers and free rail transportation for citizens. So I'll be going to Ibadan tomorrow, Fuad. Thank you very much.
It says the first starts 24.
Tomorrow, I said tomorrow.
You are the kind of people that will go to events that they are not supposed to go to.
Please, there's free rail transport. Let me go to Ibadan.
Are you supposed to go there? It's for people who don't have anything.
But free rail transport, I'm on my way to Ibadan. That's all I have to say.
You go and call crowd and stampede there now.
It's okay.
Not for you.
It's for who? It's for all citizens. That's what they wrote here. It's for all citizens.
Even if it's for us, it should be for people who really cannot, afford to pay some of these fares. Let it be for people who are. I'm saying there are people who should not go there. Let the people who really need it go there, to get this. For example, the 50% would be able to cater to how many Nigerians who want to travel actually. So if you have the means, why don't you leave it for people who don't have the means?
But how do you not have the means? How do you not have the means? Why are you doing this? Anyways, okay, so free rail transport for everyone and 50% on transport fare for travelers. According to the Director of Press and Public Relations, Federal Minister of Transport, Jimmy Oyetomi, was part of a broader effort of President Bola Tinubu to provide transportation palliatives for Nigerians celebrating the Christmas and New Year.
And they listed the routes and the transport companies. That last year was done.
Yes, so according to this, now I said the agreement was signed between the federal government and key transport holders, including NURTW, National Union of Road Transport Workers, RTEAN, that's Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, and also Association of Luxury Bus Owners of Nigeria, among others.
Is it all buses, all transport owners? So if I'm going from Lagos to Ibadan,
I'm getting there.
Is it going to happen to me?
Passengers departing from Abuja and Lagos to various destinations across the country would only pay half the usual fare. How
is it going to be done? How do they monitor it?
Wait,
that's what I'm saying.
We are getting there. What? Calm down. So for Abuja and Lagos, you're not even. I think you're glossing over the main thing here. It's only for people that are departing from Abuja and Lagos.
And Lagos.
Oshodi specifically. I'm breaking it down for you now. Are you getting it?
That's what it's important for us to know.
So Abuja and Lagos, Oshodi specifically, to various destinations. That's what we have. And
everybody has to go to
Oshodi. No. Thank God it's not far from the office. So just from here.
We like to criticize everything and anything. Anybody that benefits from it, good luck to them. I've just said it for people who are going to do everything to take advantage of this palliative.
Well, it was supposed to have started on the 20th of December, but it did not due to some issues with documentation, which are currently being solved. So a senior official who spoke in confidence due to lack of authorization said while the rail was targeted at lifting 340,000 Nigerians during and after the Yuletide, information on the road gesture still remains sketchy. because when contacted, for example, the CEO of God is Good Motors, Enahoro, okay, confirmed signing the MOU, but noted that the scheme was yet to start. He said, and I quote, "Yes, we indeed signed an MOU, but we are yet to start implementation." When he was asked for the reason for the delay, he said, and I quote, "It is the government that can tell that. We, as GIGM, will commence once we agree with the government to start."
So what MOU did you sign?
What MOU? Thank you. Okay.
You say contradictions. You signed an MOU.
So what
but
were
they say, wow,
the
you don't
details
comment.
in the MOU?
The details will be in the MOU now. What MOU did you sign? So if the man is saying they have not commented, and it's only the government that can answer why the thing is being delayed, then there's a problem somewhere.
It's all right.
And they are waiting for them to, unless, you see, and the thing is supposed to start on the 20th, we have still 24. Now MOU has been signed. The people that are supposed to help the thing happen are still not having the whole information. Look, again, like I said, Sandra, people that are going to struggle to take advantage of this palliative, good luck to them. We, of course, won't discourage anybody from trying. But while you try, please avoid crowd, avoid anything that is going to put your life at risk. It's not going to be worth it at the end of the day. You understand? Because this is looking very untidy. It's almost like an afterthought. But again, whatever happens that can at least help the people, we have to encourage it. But the fact that it's not happening when it should happen, and as at this time we are not getting enough information on it, shows that, look, it probably is not well thought out, and that it might run into some form of trouble. But wait to see how it happens, how it goes.
All right. Thank you very much. That's about that. I don't know who keeps calling, but please, this is Trends in the Papers. We do not take phone calls, so let's hold on till Milan Focus. All right. So the route, of course, involves transportation unions, and the federal government would put out further details as regards this 50% of the average.
What today's date, Sandra?
23rd. So there's.
And the thing starts tomorrow.
It might start tomorrow.
And we are yet to get the complete details.
Yes.
And it was supposed to start on the 20th before.
Yes. So
okay, let's just
so the plan includes a payment of 50% of an agreed average to the transport unions for each route, covering road trips from Abuja to state capitals and from Oshodi in Lagos to other destinations. The government is supposed to pay the transport unions 50% of the average that we already arrived at for each of the routes. No funds have been disbursed yet, leaving transport unions unable to mobilize. So all transport unions that we signed the MOU with will have to bring vehicles to Eagle Square. So nobody has been given money yet, and therefore everybody has been asked to.
You won't bring that to Eagle Square.
Come to Eagle Square. Then people now be paying, and then the government will now be paying half, and everybody will be fine.
I think everyone should go to Eagle Square.
Yeah, okay.
They should better manage the crowd that will come there.
All right, so moving on, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, further details of that particular report on page 36. Also here we have Tinubu repeating Buhari's borrowing mistakes, and that's coming from former presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. And what we have is that the 2023 presidential candidate of the PDP has criticized the 2025 budget proposal, accusing President Bola Tinubu of making the same borrowing mistakes by his predecessor, Muhammad Buhari. Atiku, who x-rayed the budget, asserted that it lacked the structural reforms and fiscal discipline needed to address Nigeria's complex economic challenges. And he has expressed doubts about the budget's ability to promote sustainable economic growth or tackle the nation's long-standing issues. Fuad, we're still talking about the 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and this is Atiku Abubakar's own thoughts or view on this, especially on the 13 trillion naira in borrowings, the deficit.
Again, we've talked about this yearly ritual of presenting budgets only for us to get into another budget here without reviewing what we did in the past. So it's almost like an academic exercise, just like paperwork. We'll get something done, fulfill all righteousness. In these budgets, in these appropriations, in these presentations, in this screening, approval processes. There's nothing intentional really about nation building. I'm telling you. And look, people might say this is a cheap, so they have a problem with the message. Yeah. But his message is not different from what experts are saying. Well-meaning Nigerians are saying, as to the fact that, look, what we have documented again is taking us nowhere, Sandra. And look, Sandra, for you to even know the intention of drafters of this budget, they could have put these things together. It is in the little things so that you know, not even in the big things, Sandra. Yes, you might question the 13 trillion deficit, you might question the appropriation to ministries and all of that. You might even question the revenue projections, the foreign exchange benchmark, the crude oil benchmark. Those are the big issues in the budget. But the little things show bigger intention, Sandra. If in that budget, we are still already seeing renovations in billions of naira. We are already seeing buying of vehicles in billions of naira. We are already seeing reckless appropriations in that same budget. Those little things matter for me because it shows bigger intention. Whether there's any commitment to nation building. So far, we are already seeing a repeat of what we've done in the past. That shows that we are not even serious as a people when it comes to proper appropriation of funds. Not even at this time that the government is telling us that the monies are not available. At the end of the day, it shows that we are not serious about anything. If we are still seeing a repeat of those items, we are still going to buy vehicles. Billions of naira have been appropriated again to renovate the residencies and the offices of the president and vice president. We are going to be buying computers again. So, at the end of the day, when you aggregate the thoughts, intentions, and thinking of the people, you know that there's no commitment anywhere. Like I said, I would rather go with those little things that shows bigger intention than even the bigger one that the economists will continue to bamboozle us about. So it is an effort in futility, ab initio. Don't be deceived. And that's my own opinion. And the facts are there to buttress this, what I'm saying this morning.
Thank you very much, Fuad, for on that particular one. Well, it's 20 minutes past 8. We don't have so much time left. You can get further details of that particular story from the front page of the Punch newspaper. You can get the story there on, page 9, yes, of the Punch newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here, just by the masthead, why governors demanded further talks on tax bills, and that's coming from Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, and that's still on the tax reform bills, and that story is on page 9. We also have here above the masthead, travelers battling unending price hikes ahead of Christmas, and that is on page 36 of the Punch.
Of government.
What?
Tomorrow.
I will go on that. I will go on that adventure, and I'll tell you my experience.
I pray for you.
Thank you very much.
As you explore that opportunity.
I thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Just keep yourself safe and sound.
It's okay.
Go through that
It's all
opportunity.
right. Petrol is to sell for 935 naira per litre from today, says Ipman.
They never change the meter.
How many filling stations have you gone to today, this morning? By
and even I don't even enter those filling stations. I'm seeing their price.
Price board.
The best I've seen is NNPCL that is doing 1,015 naira. That's the cheapest I've seen. We still have 1,040, 1,050 across the filling station. Only from Ipman guys.
Maybe the boards are on band B. Maybe that's why it's not updated.
No. I didn't know the ones changing it. If the price goes up today, those boards will change immediately. Immediately.
No, let's wait till the end of the day for close of business. Today is today. Okay. There are 24 hours in a day. Well, we don't know.
Waiting. Even though there are people who say that, look, we can't celebrate. What is the price again? 935
naira.
Nigerians that were coming from 200 naira, 195 naira, are they supposed to celebrate what 995? People that were coming just a year ago from around 195, 200 naira, and they were promised that our 괰ᴏᴜ and they are suddenly found themselves over 1,000 naira. So you are now bringing it to 995. Are they supposed to be jubilating or celebrating?
It's a work in progress.
Which progress now? You don't understand what I'm saying. A year ago, you were coming from 195, 200, and they told you that we are going to bring it down. And then suddenly you find yourself at over 1,000. And then the same group of people are now telling you that the thing will now drop to 995. Are you supposed to celebrate, or what are we supposed to do with that?
Well, a very valid question there, Fuad. For further details, you can get in page 21 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on now, very, very quickly. Now, we have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper on trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM, where we're looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers. The major headline on the Guardian: distrust and others slow financial inclusion amid 4.3 trillion naira outside the banks. Why do people not have bank accounts? Financial inclusion has been something for over a decade now, has been something that which birthed retail banking in so many banks now, where you even have some banks had to go as far as going zero balance and all of that. But still, you still have the fact that some people are still not financially inclusive. So what we have for reasons for people not opening bank accounts: not enough money or no money, which is the top. Income is not regular. Banks are too far from where I live or from where I work. No job. It costs too much to reach a bank. No reason. Prefer cash to keep money in my house. I can't read or I can't write. It's expensive to have a bank account. I don't understand how it works. I cannot operate it. Too much documentation involved. No identity document. Lack of trust. Interest earned on deposit is low. Charges and fees are too high. All this account opening fee, monthly charges and all of that. Some people, I don't know. Too much corruption, e.g. bribe. People take bribe to open accounts. I didn't know that. Anyways, must keep a minimum balance in the bank. Interest on loans too high. Used to have a bank account, but I closed it due to a bad experience. Fraud, I'm not aware. Spouse will not allow me. Security, services not available for my age. Those
Spouse will not allow.
Yes. What? I know a woman that her salary is paid to her husband's account. I know a woman like that. So
love. That should be love. That must be love. It's love now. That can't be because of bank account. It must have been an arrangement.
I forgive
coming
you.
Out of full love.
I forgive you. But doesn't the man love the woman too? He should pay his money to her too. Anyway,
no, the man is the head of the family. He takes charge.
That's amazing. I'm not working again. You think that's the case? I'm not working. All of us stay at home. I'm not working again. Anyways, so these are the reasons for people not, being open to
opening account.
Yes, have an account. For various reasons, you have the mobile, you have desktop, you have so many banks that have zero balance. What could be the reason? And all of that. So anyways, you can get further details of that on page 6, and that's as regards financial inclusion and the fact that a lot more people have cash at home than cash in the bank, which is causing a serious issue as regards cash circulation or money circulation.
If you go to a really rural area, the rural areas of Nigeria,
they are tying it in their wrapper.
A lot of people don't even operate bank accounts. The banks are not even available. If you go to far-flung, rural interior parts of the country, forget the urban areas. Even in the urban areas, there are areas that, for people who want to do petty trading, petty transactions, the banks are not readily available for them. So they don't work with the POS operators or just do, their cash transactions, keep monies at home for their daily, transactions. So all of those things are valid. All the things that have been listed, valid.
Well, the stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here, defections from Labour Party won't stop. Obi may dump party, and that's coming from Dᴏɪṛ, and that story is on page 3.
Dᴏɪṛ is already working for the APC. Is he still in Labour Party? Why is he taking
that's a very interesting, thought there. And I'm wondering why he's still speaking for or.
You are there. You are here. You are there. You are everywhere. You should just concentrate
for Labour
on
Party. You are not there. You
left the Labour Party. Should not. This is hypocrisy. If they defect in court.
Is he speaking for Peter?
Has he not even defected?
He has defected.
And then, so is he the manager of Obina? It's not the longer the spokesperson for this. How does he know he's going to leave the Labour Party? Even if we know, that's what we are saying.
Even if we know, what do you know for what?
Of course, now we already see the trajectory. The trajectory is already showing that.
Even if we know, it's okay for. Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that it's not from
him. It's not his place. That's what you're saying. Well, that's what the Labour Party boss is saying, that you are not qualified to speak on Obi's political destination. So the Labour chairman.
When you have already jumped ship.
Or your state.
He's not talking about them.
Sadiq.
That's what we call obanecking, eh? You're obanecking into another person's affair. When you already jump ship.
The misery likes company for it. It's okay.
The
story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. For further details there, we also have here North, not parasitic. Governance needs prudence, and that's coming from Ali Ndume. Very, very recently, highly vocal Ali Ndume. God bless him. Stories on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have here stampede deaths trigger political blame game as federal government defends Tinubu's reforms. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We can get further details of that one there. Delayed salary hamper Yuletide for 70,000 federal civil servants. That's on page 3. It's not delayed salary.
To pay people before Christmas. So the money that is not even enough.
What? You think people should be paid for Christmas?
I think they want to enjoy themselves and their family.
So you agree that people should be paid before Christmas? I just want to establish something.
Why not?
So people will be paid before Christmas?
Definitely.
Thank you. Milan 98.3 FM.
I'll show you on that.
Milan 98.3
I'll show you completely on that.
Milan 98.3 FM. We're wrapping things up now on trends in the papers. Well, dear colleagues, God bless you all.
But I'm sure that there are also people who don't want the money. They want it after Christmas.
There is nobody.
Or even after New Year.
There is nobody that
speak for yourself.
Nobody. There's nobody. Ipman says members will sell at 935 naira per litre from today. Federal government lifts ban on mineral exploration in Zamfara state, and that's on page 27. Very quickly, for just a minute, what's your thoughts on the lifting of ban on exploration in Zamfara? People are concerned because there is a ban in place and they were still, exploring, and the fact that 10% of the gold in the world right now, some people have claimed, comes from Nigeria. So with this ban now, it's free for all. Should we be concerned? Very quickly, just a minute.
This on banning, right?
Yes. Oh, this on banning, rather.
Okay. So when you ban, they were still doing it. When you were banned, what do you expect? What do you expect will happen?
Free for all.
When you ban, the thing was still happening. You now on banning. It should come with a more focused idea, a more methodical idea to these things. Mining, particularly the mining sector, is so chaotic. Especially with the way the states are handling the issue. There's a lot of conspiracy, Sandra. A lot of collaboration. Even beyond what we report. In Zamfara, for example, there's a high-level cabal conspiracy about what is happening in the mining sector, especially in that state. In fact, there are people who tell you that the reason for the heightened insecurity in Zamfara is not, it's not so far from the fact that no people are illegally mining gold in that state. So whether you ban or unban, that does not automatically solve the problem. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, as we have wrapped up now, two major stories just above the masthead of Vanguard newspaper. Edo, the suspended local government chairmen are to resume today, and that's the report that we have now from Edo State.
Have they stopped the suspension?
Well, they are to resume today. The story is on page 12 of Vanguard newspaper. Yes, and we also have here federal government is to review an upward review of the 15 trillion naira Lagos Calabar coastal highway, and that's on page 9.
You want to jack the money up again?
I just want to remind us that social infrastructure in the budget is 0.35. I think no.
And the entire money is about 4.something trillion,
no, social intervention, that is. No, infrastructure rather. Infrastructure is 1.1 or thereabout, 1.1 trillion. Yes, that's what we have. A social intervention that is 0.35 trillion. So all the best on that. All right, that's a wrap for today on Trends in the Papers. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll move on to Milan Focus, where you, our dear listener, you get to be a part of the conversation. So please stay tuned.